What's going on, Gator Nation? Your boy Pat Young is here for season 2 of The Young and the Rowdies. And let me tell you, this second episode, we got a big one here. I had to chase this man around for about almost a year to get him on the show, but I'm so thrilled to get him on. He is one of our first back-to-back national championship members. I am so thrilled. Before we get into the show, let me remind you guys, before I get into those things of subscribing and whatnot, just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the support on this show, for allowing me this opportunity to just dive in on the lives of people that have impacted me, guys that I don't know, guys that I do know, and that have been through the University of Florida's program. So before we dive in, guys, remember to share this show with anyone you think that will like it. I don't have to tell you guys listen to podcasts. I don't have to tell you what to do, but please just subscribe and share. But I'm so excited to get into this episode because we got the one and only T Green in the building. What's happening, bro? How you doing?
Doing great. I'm doing great. What's going on, Gator Nation? Thanks for having me on the show, Big Pat. It's been a tough time trying to get me on the show, man. Been chasing each other for a year, trying to get right, but we're here now.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, man, especially when, overseas and family and all that. My first year, I gotta get these notifications on me. Let me get out of that real quick. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. Definitely understand family, playing ball overseas, the time zone difference. And I've been over there, but you're going into season 14.
The season 15.
Season 15, going to season 15.
Season 15, man. Season 15 has been a great ride. A lot of years, man. A lot of experience. But I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. Being able to travel around Europe, experience different cultures, get paid for doing what I love. There's no complaints for me. I have no complaints.
I know, right? I mean, definitely. There's nothing is guaranteed in life. And, at the end of the day, of course, we can say there's things that we wish could have gone differently along the journey, but, that is the journey. No one else can be a better T Green than you. No one else gets to be in your shoes. No one else gets to take those opportunities and make the most of it. I mean, for me, I never even imagined playing ball overseas. Like it just wasn't even in my mind until I left.
It's crazy.
Great life.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you because, my first year I got drafted for Portland, and then, my agent, that summer I played summer league, and then he hit me. He was like, you have a couple offers from Europe, Spain, and I was like, what, Europe? Because I never experienced it. I didn't know, fresh out of college. Right? Yeah, I didn't know. And, I went over there my first year. It was kind of, an adjustment, obviously, having to, at 1 month, I paid, I think, like $4,000 on the phone bill because I was just calling home. I was just calling home like I was in the States talking to people. I got my phone bill. It said like $4,500. I'm like, oh man. So I quickly went to the vets on my team. I'm like, hey, what are y'all doing when y'all call the States? Like, how do you guys communicate with people back home? So they set me up, man. They got me right, and then everything else was downhill for the rest of the years.
It's crazy, man. Like nobody tells you that stuff. Like there should be like a manual or something. Like, hey, if you're
living in Europe manual.
Yeah, like when you're going overseas to this country. I mean, it can't be specific to the country, but specific to just making those phone calls, getting just
and into the rules that you gotta, some things that you gotta know beforehand.
But before we dive into the professional career, what I love to do on this show, we just dive into the whole journey, man. We dive in on, where you started, how you got in the ball, and then how you end up coming to Florida. Obviously, we're gonna talk about. You already know. I know you got plenty of stories. I'm hoping this episode is gonna be full of
stories. I gotta remember
them. So T Green, you were born and raised in Boca Raton?
No, that's what's there, man. Listen, I was born in Chicago. I was born in Chicago. I moved. My dad got drafted by the Bulls in I think '83, so I was born there in '85. And then he got traded a couple of times. He got traded to New York. Detroit. And, me and my family, my mom moved us around. And then he got traded to Orlando. And I think I was like 4 or 5. And then, he got traded a couple more times, but my mom was tired of moving. So she just decided to keep us in Orlando. And, I was raised in Orlando since I was 5. I moved to Fort Lauderdale. When my dad started coaching at FAU, I think I was like 11 or 12. And then I moved to Fort Lauderdale, went to high school down there, won a state championship. And, I went to 4 different high schools. So
yeah, I was. I had to ask about that.
4 different high schools. I went to Lake Howell High School my freshman year in Orlando. Moved to Fort Lauderdale. Went to Westminster Academy. And, at Westminster, my coach, we won a state championship. And then some of the parents, their kids weren't playing. And they were complaining to, the administration and all that. So he left. He didn't want to deal with that. He kind of took a little hiatus. So I went to IMG in Brady my junior year. Played there. And then, I wanted to compete for a state championship, for my senior year. So I went, my high school coach that coached me my sophomore year, he went back to Cardinal Gibbons for my senior year, started coaching again. So I went there, tried to play for a state championship my senior year. Fell short.
Man, that's a journey. So obviously the love for the game came from your pops and some of those, maybe were you too young to kind of really remember, going to the games and stuff at that time?
Obviously I was always around it. So, I remember, most of the times when he was with the Magic, with the Hornets, a lot of time with the Hornets, I remember, I used to dribble the ball around in the locker room with Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson.
That's crazy.
I would be in there all the time after practice, and they would show love. They would play. Took good care of me when I was young. So I was always around it, man, and it just came natural.
Were you, as you're, because obviously parents want their kids to turn into that, be better than them. At what point did because a lot of kids grow up just playing basketball, they just love it. And it takes them a minute before they're like, okay, I really got NBA dreams. I got dreams to go with this thing and start working. When did it start like clicking for you? And when did you start realizing like I really got a chance to do something with my career?
Man, I think it started really clicking for me. I mean, I knew I always loved the game. Like, I won the AAU national championship when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And, I won a national championship then. And I think, I just had the passion for it early. And, I just kept getting better. My dad would work with me in our driveway. I would be playing with a lot of my friends, who played on my AAU team. And, we had a really talented AAU team. And, we would compete against each other. And I think, that's what made me better. And I think it was maybe when I knew I kind of had a shot, I think I was maybe going into the 9th grade. It was a team camp at Lake Howell High School. We were playing against Edgewater. Edgewater had that team with Darius Washington, Brandon Johnson, a lot of, basically the guys I played AAU with, that was the whole Edgewater team. So, they were one of the best teams in the state. And, I think I had like 20 something that game. And I was like, all right, I might have a shot, really doing something with this. I just kept on working. My dad kept me mentally strong, mentally prepared. And I just kept grinding at it, man. Just kept grinding, just trying to get better. And, everything just worked out.
What would you say, to hopefully the kids and parents that we have listening in and everyone wants their kids to make it one day, what would you attest to you busting through? And because everyone knows if you got to work hard. I mean, that's the baseline. If you ain't willing to work hard in anything, you ain't gonna make it. But
you ain't gonna make it.
What else would you say attested to? It could just be your vision and your dream. It could be the support that you had around you. It could be I don't know, the sacrifices that you made for not hanging out with friends as much or not playing video. Whatever it is. What advice would you give to these parents and kids that have would love to have the opportunities that you had?
I think like you said, it's a little bit of everything that you said. No, it's a little bit of You got to make sacrifices. You know, if there's a party going on or if your friends are going out, you know, I mean, that's definitely gonna be there. You got to understand, you like, you know, if you really want to improve and get better, you got to make sacrifices. Whether that's hanging out with your friends, whether you know you don't need to go out to a club or something, you know. But I think for me, you know what, and you know, I've been training for the past, you know, 2 or 3 years now. Young guys, NBA, you know, pre-draft guys. I think the main thing, you know, for this generation coming up is you gotta want to be coached. You know, you have to let a coach coach you. You know, a coach isn't always gonna tell you what you need to hear. You know, a coach isn't, you know, built to just. I mean, a coach is built to give you confidence at the end of the day. But I think these players need to understand that a coach is gonna be hard on you, and it's nothing personal. You know,
Yeah.
It's just that coach trying to get the best out of you, trying to push your buttons. And as a player, you have to understand that, accept that. Like, you know, as players, obviously, you don't like getting yelled at, but you got to see the bigger picture. You got to see the bigger picture and understand that, all right, this coach is trying to get me better. Let me listen and try to, you know, just try to go execute what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make you a better player. You know, the more receptive you are to coaching, I think the better, you know, you're going to be as a player, as a person. And it's just going to mentally make you stronger as well. You know, I think the game is more mental than anything nowadays. You know, if you play with, if you're, you know, if your whole attitude is good things that happen to you, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I play a lot of golf. Like I'm up here in Nebraska right now with my girlfriend, and she's like right on the golf course. I've been here for about exactly a week now. I've been on the course every single day.
Uh-huh.
You know, every chance, like sometimes I'll go out early in the morning, but it's a little cold and wet, so the ball doesn't go as well. Or I'll go after I get off work. And the game is so mental.
Yeah.
The game is 90% mentality, because you watch the pros and they make bad shots all the time. And it's just that their bad shot does not affect the next one. Yeah. And you know, it's so funny that people don't understand, why does Tom Brady and LeBron James and these top tier guys, why do they still have coaches? It's like they have coaches because we all have blind spots and they still want to get better. They are, you know, I had Coach Donovan on the show, my first episode last year. And he said something he said stuck with me about Chris Paul. He's like, Chris Paul, he's fighting for inches. Yeah. He gets to that gym early and he's just doing all the extra little things that are going to help him be even better. Because it's like, yes, I'm elite, but I'm going to spend extra money on, because those guys have the resources to do so. But they want to be elite. They want to get these coaches that can help them try new things. And because another funny story with Coach Donovan, he was like, you know, when he went to go play coach with OKC for the first year, and he's got I think Kevin Durant and Westbrook. I don't know who they're about to play, but you know, they've played these guys. It's not like college where, you know, you might have never played these guys on the other team for the scouting report, so you got to break down the whole thing. And it's like they already know everything as far as what these guys can or can't do. But as a coach, how can I help them be more effective? Yeah. And if you're not receptive to that, because that's what all coaches want to do. Yeah. Coaches are trying to help you be as effective, put you in a position to win. And just all coaches have different philosophies of how they do it. And I honestly think almost all philosophies can work. But if you don't, first of all, if you don't know that coach cares about you, you know, maybe these kids are a little too sensitive these days.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I said, man, I don't know what it is, but you know, I mean, you know, it's a new generation, and you know, a lot of these kids, they are sensitive. Like, you know, some of these people that I train, you know, I've seen, you know, videos on Instagram, like, you know, people overreacting if a coach is getting on the player or something. Like, I'm like, all right, like if the coach don't hit obviously you don't physically, you know, abuse a player, obviously, but like, you know, coach is getting on the player, these parents are in the uproar. I'm like, yo, like, you know, what are you paying the coach to do? Like, you paying for your son or whatever to play for this coach. Let the coach coach your son, man, or daughter, you know.
Absolutely. Like, you know, obviously we don't want abuse and any type of mental abuse, especially when it comes to the game. But these coaches are striving to, like, Coach Donovan was so good at playing those mind games on you.
The best.
What I loved about him, he would do that to get the best out of you, and then it was always to teach you something or get help. And for my experience, if he was trying to get something, drilled down in my head, and I finally got it, you let it go. He didn't hold grudges or like keep bringing up old stuff on me, and that really helped me just to mature. And even one day when I become a father, and I'm coaching one day or whatever it may be, to strive to emulate that. Like I want you to get this, and once you got it, and you get to that revelation eventually, now I don't have to keep hitting you on the head with it, and we can move on to the next thing. But until you get A, we can't get to B.
Can't get to B. Exactly. You got to lock this. You got to master this first before we can get anywhere else.
Man.
But no, that's Coach D. Coach D is the best, man. We'll get into that, obviously. But there type of, I remember I had a lot of Coach D was on my butt, man. He was on my ass. I ain't even gonna lie to you. And it all paid off. And like I said, I accepted the coaching. That's the one thing Dad did tell me before I went there.
That's awesome.
Like, hey, listen to Coach D. Like, my dad is a huge Coach Donovan fan. Loves him, And he told me before I got there, he's like, all right, like, go earn your stuff. Like, go earn your playing time, and I promise. Go in there, listen to Coach D, be a sponge, let him coach you.
Yeah. And it's crazy, man. It's just
there's a lot of stories there, from
we're gonna get into it for sure. It's just crazy, man. It just took. I wish I could have. I guess not regret. I guess for me, I just wish I could have figured it out and been more coachable sooner.
Yeah,
because I think my uncoachability and just my pride and my when you have the formula for frustration is you have an expectation of what things are supposed to be. You have this, and it's usually rooted in some sort of facade, or people blowing smoke up your butt, or you just thinking that you're better than you are, whatever it may be. It's some type of entitlement, pride, whatever it may be. Then you face reality. You ain't as good as you thought you were.
You get humbled real fast.
And you get humbled, and then you just got this frustration, and it bleeds over. And that frustration, it should, in a perfect world, it should lead you to say, like, dang, I just got to get better. I got to get better. I got to, that you would hope that that type of humility would lead you to on the right path. But sometimes it's just more resistant. When I had Casey Prather on the show last year, and I never realized this about him, because he struggled for 3 years, man. He struggled, just, and then it seemed like he got into that phase where he wanted to be a three-point shooter so bad. He wanted to be a three-point shooter, and he wanted to force his way into Coach Donovan's system. Yeah. And then, from my point of view, I thought he was just struggling with confidence. Like, I thought he just like, don't mess up. And then, you mess up, and then coach pulls you. He was like, no, I had overconfidence. Yeah. I was trying to show Coach Donovan, no, you're wrong.
Yeah. Hey, no,
I can do things my way, and I'm going to show you.
Stubborn.
I mean, I was reading, I get into the word a little bit every now and then, and it was crazy that the Proverbs 12 verse 1, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. And let me tell you, bro, I was stupid for a long time.
Hey, man, you look back, it's funny as now we're older, more mature, more wise, you look back and it's like, man, like, you certain situations, or, we all make mistakes or whatever, but you look back, you're like, damn, what was I thinking about? Like, I wish, or like, you think back, dang, I wish I would have did this back then, or I wish I would have made this decision. Like, obviously, it's life, but, you keep going on, but, that's just part of the journey, man. That's part of life, and
part of the journey,
forward, yeah.
Yeah, they say, even after like a bad game or something, that you're still supposed to look at the tape. If there was like a video recording of me just being how dumb I was, I would not watch it. Hey,
we all got one of those. We all got a tape.
But let's get back to ball. So coming out of high school, when did how was your recruiting process? You obviously were high on the radar and stuff.
I was a top 100 player in high school. I was getting recruited heavily by Georgia, South Carolina, Miami, Florida State. Those are the main schools that were recruiting me. Florida was recruiting me. But an interesting, I'm going to tell you how I got to Florida. So Florida was recruiting me. And you remember when Coach D had the elite camps?
Yeah.
Those elite camps.
Yep.
So I'm in high school. I go to the elite camp. So it's between the point guards that they were looking at were Jason Horton. He's from Texas. He was I think he was a top 30 player at that time. And Jordan Farmer from the point guard, CLA. So those were it was me. So those were the three guards that, Florida was recruiting at the time. So we were all at the camp. LaMarcus Aldridge was there. There's a lot of great players there. So I went into the mindset, like, Coach sat me down. Was like, listen, we like all three of you. We're offering all three. Like, basically whoever, bites on the offer first, we'll take.
Yeah.
So Jordan was in between UCLA and Florida, and I think another school. Jason Horton was in between Missouri, Texas, and Florida, I think. And so I knew I had to go in there, and basically I knew I had to go in there. They were ranked higher than me. I had to go in there and do what I had to do. So I was locked in. I was locked in from the jump from this camp. So we were competing, going through drills, and I was really playing well. And I don't know if you know him. You know Brendan, sir?
Mm-mm.
He was a coach for the Knicks. He worked in the management with the Knicks. Now he's an assistant coach with Coach Jones over there at Stetson. He had a long career. So he's good friends with Coach D, and he told him, he was like, Coach D asked, like, what player do you like out here? Like, who'd you take? And Brendan Sir said, I like that kid right over there. Talking about me. And he was like, really? Coach, he was like, really? He's like, yeah, plays a pick and roll well, makes the right read, can shoot it, just makes the right play, doesn't try to do too much. And so all in all, Coach D was like, wow. So, started playing, competing. I'm locked in. I'm locked in the whole camp. Hey, you got to play better than Jordan Farmer. You got to play better than Jason Horton. That's it. So all in all, I played well that camp, and then ended up getting the offer. Coach said, we're offering you if you want to accept. I went home. I was like, all right, I'm going to Florida. sent in my letter of intent, and it was a done deal after that.
What year were you?
I was class of 2004. 04.
I mean, what year in high school? High school was that?
Oh, this was going into my senior year. Going into my junior year. My fault. Going into my junior.
Okay, yeah, that's similar time when I committed as well. Hey, that's what's up. What was your experience with Coach Donovan like in that process, and how was this when he heard you were when you sent that letter in and all that stuff?
It was great. Coach Donovan and Coach Grant, they came down to Fort Lauderdale, visit me at my school and all that, and it was just a sigh of relief. I had a sigh of relief just being able to sign with Coach D. Like, it was a dream. I watched, them teams when Teddy Dupay was there, even when Jason Williams was there. I just grew up. My dad had me watch a lot of Florida games. He's like, hey, this is how Coach Donovan look. He lets his guards. Like, yo, look, so I was watching, Florida and Coach Donovan's system for a few years. So it all just worked out. And, I was excited, that I was being able to stay home in the state of Florida, being able to play for Coach Donovan. Yeah. And you can say it all worked out for the best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know, you got your whole group of guys that we all know and love. But what was your experience when you guys first got there?
We clicked right away. I think, we got to the room, we got our dorm situated. We dropped off our bags. We looked like, hey, y'all trying to go to the gym? Let's go to the gym. So we just played. Got some shots, started playing 1-on-1, 2-on-2. But then, as the practices started, Corey had to guard me. Corey was guarding me pretty much my whole freshman year in practice. I don't know, And this guy was just playing passing lane, just picking off my passes, deflections.
So long.
6'8", yeah, And that adjustment, we was talking about the adjustment from high school to college. And I think the biggest adjustment was the speed. The speed, obviously the physicality. So it took me a little bit to adjust, to that pressure. I had to handle the pressure. I had to call the plays. I had to make sure everybody was in their spots. So Coach D was on my butt. And there was there was a couple practices to where, Joakim forgot every play. Every play. Freshman year. Couldn't remember a play for his life. So we're running transition. We get everybody's in the right position, but Joe. Coach blows the whistle, starts. I'm thinking, oh yeah, get on Joe. Dang, Joe always in the wrong place. Taurean, get your effing team in the right spot. I'm like, everybody, but Joe, he's like, is he on your team? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, get him in the right effing spot. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, Joe, you gotta be over here. He's like, all right, my bad. So I was getting in trouble with my freshman year because Joe couldn't remember a play. But that was just part of it. That's me allowing coach to coach me. And that was my role. Like, hey, you're the point guard. You got to get your guys in the right spot. Yeah, it's Joe's fault, but hey, you're the point guard. It all falls on you. So I had to, understand that, and I just had to take it. I got kicked out of practice a couple times. Coach used to call me apple turnover. Get out of here.
Turnover.
Put him on the treadmill. Get him on the treadmill. I'll come get him when we're ready.
Man.
Oh man. So yeah, man, it was tough my freshman year at the beginning, but I kept working, kept grinding, and I was getting some solid minutes. I think I averaged maybe 14 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game my freshman year. But I was playing behind Anthony. And I learned a lot. And I learned a lot from Coach D that year. Obviously, I learned a lot from Anthony, and just my role. I think it helped me, to be ready for that following year, my sophomore year.
I heard Joakim. I didn't know he couldn't remember a play, but I definitely heard.
Oh my God, couldn't remember a play to save his life.
I heard he had difficulty making it to class on time too.
A lot of difficulties for that guy, man. I think he had the most 6 a.m. workouts out of anybody. I think at one point, Matt Herring hated Joe at one point because Matt Herring had to wake up and put him through the 6 a.m. stadiums. Joe be like, I gotta go run stadiums again. So I'm like, what you do?
He liked it.
He loved it. Yeah, he's like, yo, I'm getting in shape. He always would find something. He was like, yeah, I gotta wake up at 6. Hey, get my legs strong. always found a positive out of something. I'm like, yeah, you still waking up at 6 a.m. That's trash.
Did you know Joe before? Did you know any of the guys before you got to school?
I knew about him on a summer circuit, but what's crazy is my cousin, he's like my brother, they went to the same high school together in Poly Prep in New York. So they were familiar with each other, and Joe ended up signing, and he was like, "Hey, I went to high school with your cousin." And just that relationship has always been there. My cousin, he was Joakim's, manager for I think 3 or 4 years in the NBA. So that relationship has always been there. So we've always been kind of connected in a way.
Okay, that's what's up. So after that first, who were all the older guys you had coming into that year? Because then you earned the starting spot the next year.
Yeah, so that year, my freshman year, we had David Lee, Anthony Roberson, and Matt Walsh, Adrian Moss. I think Mohammed Abukar was there for a little bit, but then he transferred. We had a good team. We had Lee. We had a good team. And then, Matt had a chance to go to the NBA. He tested the waters. And then I think Anthony, he was trying to get out. He was trying to leave. He was ready to make that jump to the NBA. Yeah. And, David was a senior. So, those are our 3 main scorers. Those were the 3 guys that, basically the offense was ran around our freshman year. And, our role was basically get on the floor, bring energy, play defense, play your role, And, we did that. And we got experience, throughout that whole season because we all played, except Joakim, we all played, pretty significant minutes. And then, Joe thought about transferring. Joe thought, he went to Coach D, asked, how do I get on the court? Should I transfer? Do you see me? He's like, just keep working. Coach D knew David was about to leave. He knew how the dominoes are falling. So, he prepared us to transition and make that jump from our freshman year to sophomore year.
That's what I really loved about I had Colin Castleton on last year. He's the center for the Gators now, and he was at Michigan his first 2 years, and he wasn't. He did. I think he averaged like 1 point and 3 points in his first 2 years there. But his mindset during that whole time, because he had Juwan Howard came in, I think his second year, he was just like, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna stick to the grind. Like, you got to persevere even when the circumstances aren't what you want. And like I was so pumped up to hear like a kid like him, or anybody in general, just have that mindset, because life is going to throw you in situations.
That's life. I'm going to say that's life.
Let me tell you, and you already know, man, like you can't be sensitive and pouty, especially when you go become a professional. They don't care. Are you going to show up and do your job? We don't care about any of this other, and stay ready. That's what they always say. You got to stay ready, because you don't know, like the guy in front of you might get injured. Like, do you remember the plays? Can coach trust you to be in the spot and you get your shot?
If you want to be elite, there's going to be all types of adversity that comes up along the way, and you got to be able to, like, obviously, like, you're going to feel bad or whatever, like, adversity, like, you're going to feel bad, feel sorry, whatever, like, but you got to shake that off immediately, Immediately. You got to be, it's all here. Like, I tell everybody, basketball for me, like, the older I've gotten, basketball is, I'd say 75% mental, 25% physical, like, because, if your mental is right, like, if you're mentally strong, if you're confident, you're strong-minded, you can get through anything, and the rest of the stuff, like, your talent level and your work ethic, it'll take over, the rest of the way, But I think if you have a good mindset going into anything, and a positive mindset and a strong mind, you'll be able to, get through anything,
Yeah.
Any type of adversity, I feel you'll be able to get through. It's going to be tough, but I think if you're strong-minded, you'll be able to get through anything.
Yeah. It's, those obstacles that come in the way, whether you're dealt with, a shorthand in life, as far as, maybe you don't have as many opportunities. That's real life adversity, some stuff that you could not control. But guess what? You can control. What you gonna do with it?
Coach Grant, the famous, he used to be in my ear all the time. He said, T Green, he said, hey, control what you can control.
Yeah.
Control what you can control. Like, hey, if you got to be on class on time, control what you can control. Be on class on time. If that's it. Control what you can control. That's the motto that stuck with me from Coach Grant. Throughout my years at Florida. Always control what you.
Got a chance to really connect with Coach Grant. He was at Alabama.
He left when you came in, right?
Yeah, I think he left and went to VCU.
He went to VCU.
Went on to Alabama. Now he's at. I felt so bad from the year the season got canceled, because Dayton, they had a chance, boy.
Wow. They had a squad.
That boy Obi Toppin between the legs in the game.
Doing all type of crazy. They had a really good team. Their guard play was good. Like, Coach Grant had a really good team. Who
were all the assistant coaches you guys had?
We had Coach Grant. He was the top assistant. We had Coach Shyatt, Larry Shyatt.
Defense.
Loud and proud, Coach Shyatt. We had Coach Jones, Coach Donnie Jones.
Yep.
When Coach Grant left, Lewis Preston came. After that first national championship, Coach Grant went to VCU, so Lewis Preston came in. And we had Darren Hurts.
Yep.
And
he's assistant over at Dayton now.
Yep. He's with Coach Grant at Dayton. So we had Darren Hurts. Like, I think our whole coach, Matt McCall, he was the head manager. He was head, assistant to Coach D while we were there. And now he's head coach at UMass. So, everybody along that coaching tree has a job somewhere.
Yeah. That's why I really love doing this podcast. It's like it seems for the most part, not everybody that has come through that umbrella of Coach Donovan and just the organization has just gone on to continue to excel and choose being exceptional. Because Coach Donovan is just a man that he strives for excellence and is consistent. He practices what he preaches, and it's contagious. You know, they say bad character corrupts good company, but I think a strong man that is continually striving for excellence is contagious. Like it makes you uneasy because it's like your mediocrity can't exist when someone is like next to you striving for excellence all the time.
It forces you to be at your best, and that's what makes him a great coach. That's what makes him a great coach. That's what makes him a great person. It's his relatability to the players. You know, it's just his whole energy. You know, he's positive. Yeah. Like, he gonna get on you. He gonna hold you accountable. Yeah. He's gonna hold you accountable, but it's with love though. Like, you know, you can feel he's gonna hold you accountable, but you can feel it's no hate. Like, you know, so it's like, all right, like I gotta listen to him. Like, yo, like, you know, it's Coach D. Like, you know, he knows what he's doing, you know.
What was one of the toughest that you can never forget? What was one of the toughest days that you guys had at practice?
So we went out one night. You know, we went out. We went out. Had a night. We had a night, and you know, we had practice. I think it was at 12 that next day or something. It was either at 10 or 12. So, you know, we had a night. So we were hungover. And we had practice. So, you know, wake up, like yo, I need we Tylenol, Advil, drink some water, get something quick to eat, and go straight to practice. So we in there practicing. We practiced so bad. It was just like a sloppy, like no energy. So coach, he was just sitting up there the whole time, didn't say nothing. Like, just like, you know, he was running practice. So we like, all right, coach, just chill. Like, we're gonna get through this. Like, we good, like, you know. So practice is over. We practice for 2 hours. Practice is over. All right, guys, come on in. Like, whew, it's finally over. He's sitting there chewing his gum. You know how he chewed at him? Yeah. He said, you guys have a good time last night? we looked at each other. He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. He's like, yeah. Y'all do. Come back here at 12 midnight. Practice again.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had to come back practice that night, man. And we went hard too. We went hard. And he wasn't saying that. We went hard that first practice. We went hard. It was sloppy, but we went hard. He brought us back that night. We practiced for like an hour hard. Like, all right.
I made that mistake once. Boy, I think it was my birthday. In the next day, boy, I was hurt at practice. I couldn't stretch. I'm out there. I couldn't put my head down.
I don't know how I'm gonna get through this.
Coach, I'm at the end of practice. You had a good time, didn't you, last night? I was like, Coach, man, just let me go home. I ain't gonna do it again, I promise.
But you know, that's the thing he was great at too. He understood, man. He understands that, you know, you're college students, you're gonna have those, you know. But at the same time, that he was trying to teach us, like, yo, if you gonna sit here and go out and do what you do, but y'all better be ready to come in and work and do what you need to do at the level you're supposed to do it. You know, that's that accountability.
I love, that's what I loved too about, you know, especially my senior year. He was like, guys, we don't need to practice for 2 hours. If y'all come in here, focus, work hard, discipline, we'll be out here in an hour 15. That's it.
That's how my junior year, that's how practicing was. Like at the beginning, obviously, you know, preseason and, you know, that first part of the schedule of that non-conference, like, you know, obviously practice is going to be like 2 hours. But as we got SEC play, practices were an hour and a half. We would get in our work, what we're supposed to do, go through the scouting. You know, it was done after that. You know, I think, you know, Coach D did a great job of listening to Coach Herring as well, our strength coach. You know, they had that good balance of, you know, like, all right, you know, I'm sure there was times Coach D wanted to, you know, practice more or something. But, you know, he did a great job of listening to our strength coach and you know, for sure. It paid off because he understood that it was a marathon, you know? Yeah. It was a marathon.
Yep. And Duke definitely. He
woo. The two, they had a good little connection, man, between Coach Donovan, Matt Herring, and Duke, man. They were great. You know, our recovery was great. We had to get into that cold bath after every practice.
Who was running from it?
They had us getting taped. So, like, you know, everything was they had everything on lock with in terms of our health and just making sure we were healthy, fresh for the games throughout the whole season.
Who was trying to run from it? From that cold?
Corey Brewer tried to he'll get in for 1 minute. All right, I got it. I'm gonna just get my shorts wet. I'm like, bro, they know you not good. I'm like, they know you didn't get in.
Man, Corey is so skinny.
Still is to this day.
He is to this day. Did he just like that's just his body? I know, because I know Matt had him working.
Low key, he was strong though. He's like a wiry strong,
Yeah.
That's just how his body makeup is. He's skinny, but he's athletic, he's strong, and he can move,
So I had Lee Humphrey on last year as well. And
best shooter in NCAA and Gator history.
Yeah. I think he mentioned, I don't know if you remember it. I'm guessing it would have to be your sophomore year. I think maybe before the season. I think you guys were in a Jeep or something like that, riding. And then I don't know how it came up, but you guys were just like, man, we got a really good chance that we're going to be really good.
Yeah. We were riding. I forgot riding, but I remember we were just sitting there. We played pickup. Like, ever since we got to Gainesville, the pickup team was, me, Corey, Al, Joe. And we were like, we want Lee Hump. We want Lee Hump. That was our 5-on-5 team since we got to Florida. And it was like that every time we played pickup. Every time. Like, this is our team right here. And we connected. Like, we shared the ball. We played so well together. Throughout playing pickup and, winning some games against those older guys, we said, hey, man, we got a chance to, really do something special. Because, I think the energy, you could feel the energy and the positivity while you were playing. Just unselfish, just moving the ball. Like, there was no ego. Like, there was no selfishness from anybody. And, I think that we felt that, like, hey, we can really do something special. And I think it was after that, what was it, that tournament in New York, the Coaches versus Cancer? Cancer. After we played Syracuse, we played Wake Forest, and then we played Syracuse. After that, we were like, we got a chance to do this.
So going into that year,
mm-hmm.
You guys played. I mean, was it at the turn? Did y'all win the regular season 06 as well? Did y'all triple crown?
Win the regular season that our sophomore year. We won the regular season our junior year.
Who won that first year or your sophomore year? You remember?
I don't know. I might want to say Kentucky. I'm not 100. It was either Kentucky or Tennessee or one of the teams. We had problems with Tennessee too.
Yeah. Gosh.
They used Coach Pearl used to throw them weird defenses. We always used to struggle with Tennessee. That was like our, it's not like they was the best team in the world, but that was our kryptonite,
They always gonna play a strong play. We went when I think we beat Tennessee 3 times, then we lost 3 times, then we beat them 3 times in my career.
Yeah,
just going up there to Knoxville was just their fans, man. Gosh.
Hey, that was tough. I remember we went to Knoxville and played Tennessee. So we were ranked like top 10 in the country, I think. And, so it's a big game for them. They had, we did the introductions. They're not over there on their bit. So they came down from the stands. Like, introduction came down from the stands, like all type of special stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is their championship game. They came out. I think they ended up beating us, but it was always tough to play in Knoxville. Always tough.
It's so annoying. Like when you're on top like that, it's always an arrow on your back. Everybody bringing their A game every single time. Like we had Auburn at home my senior year, and they were like the bottom third in the SEC, and them boys came out shooting.
You gonna get
dunks, everything. Like Coach Donovan, y'all came to play today? You come? Your whole season's on the line right now.
You get team's best shot. It's tough to, because they have nothing to lose. they're not expected to win, especially like, you know, when you're a top team in the country, you know, every team is gonna come after you. You're gonna get their best shot. And that's pure off of adrenaline. You know, the toughest part about playing those teams is the first 5 to 10 minutes. Because you're gonna get adrenaline. They're gonna have the most energy, and they're gonna come out hitting crazy shots.
Yep.
No pressure, you know.
Yep. You gotta wait for that energy to settle down. You gotta match it. You just gotta within those first 5 minutes, you just gotta withstand that and keep
it close. Just keep it close, and then, you know, it's gonna die down, and then, you know, the turn up.
So T Green, you were the man in the tournament, man. It's like, I mean, you were the man all season, but, you know, as far as probably, you know, teams did their scouting, but you just like stepped up like crazy. And, you know, just being like, all right, y'all ain't gonna key in on me. Like, I am, y'all don't know what I can do out here.
That's the best part about a team, though, Pat. That's the best part about our team. Like, you know, obviously I was the point guard, but, you know, we had such a balanced team. It's like pick your poison. Like, all right, if you're gonna stop Joakim and Al in the post, that's gonna leave more opportunities for me, Lee Hump, and Corey on the perimeter wall. You know, if you're gonna take away me or try to take away Lee Hump shooting, the post is wide open. So it's like pick your poison, man. You know, I think the good thing about our team is if whatever game plan the team threw at us, whether it was to stop the post or stop the perimeter, we were just ready for our opportunity. And, like, you know, if they're going to stop the post, all right, Lee, hey, we're going to get all these shots, man. Let's knock them down, you know? So it was just being ready for that opportunity. And, you know, it's just stepping up, man, just playing your role. I think that's what made us great. Everybody played their role. If we had a shot or our name was called, we stepped up. And that's what the best thing about our team is. We were gamers, you know?
Yeah.
We're gamers. We love to play.
It's still so surreal that Lee actually broke a net in a game from just shooting a three. I mean, that thing was I can't, like, I have never seen a game get stopped.
What's crazy, Pat, with people, like, everybody talks about, you know, 04, everybody talks about, you know, Corey Aljo, you know, but in that tournament, the key, I think, for both championships, 2 key plays after halftime. Lee Hump, he comes out and hits 2 threes to put for halftime. Like, after the half, first possessions, Lee come out, hit 2 threes, both years in the championship game, you know, which created that situation, the momentum, you know. And, you know, everybody, you know, always, like I said, everybody always talks about, you know, 04, you know, whatever, but I don't think that we would be the team that, you know, I mean, we say that about each other, but Lee really opened the floor for us. Lee really was a big piece of what we did. It was layups, dunks, and Lee Hump. That was our motto. Layups, dunks, and Lee Hump. That's it. And, you know, he really opened the floor for us, man. And he was a great shooter, man. One of the best shooters, probably the best shooter I ever played with. So
isn't it just crazy how
he really spaced the floor out for us, and is a big factor to why we can do what we do.
Isn't it crazy? It's not crazy, but, like, I remember it was at one of Coach Donovan's camps. Lee came up and he's like, "Oh, I hope I can make some shots today." Like, bro, what are you talking about, bro?
Hey, but that's the thing with Lee. Sometimes I'm like, Lee, why are you like, you know, he was like, he would question his confidence at the beginning, early in his career, you know? He was like, Lee, like, yo, like, you see how you shoot the ball? Like, yo, like, we had to tell him, like, Lee, we're not going to get mad if you shoot. Like, whenever you touch the ball, if you have a crack, shoot it. I don't care. Eyes closed, eyes open, just shoot it. It's like, hey, that's what you do.
That's the kind of confidence you want to bring for sure to your teammates.
Yeah. And, you know, he ran with it.
Were you, I mean, was it probably not surprising to you, just briefly on Joe, you know, making that jump from his freshman to sophomore year? Because I know he was skinny, couldn't get on time, can't remember plays, all these things, and, you know, wasn't really a known guy coming in out of high school. You know, was it just like you knew it was going to happen because he put the work in, or it was just like you didn't know when he would make that jump, or just like, man, we
You
knew,
can,
knew
you
we
can
had
never
it.
can never tell. Obviously, like obviously we knew that Joe's work ethic was there. Like that was never a question. It was just whether or not he would be able to pick up plays, pick up the pace of the college basketball. And he did that. He worked, continued to grind. He went home that summer to New York, worked on his game, came back for summer B. We worked, and he made that jump. And then, like I said earlier in the podcast, 75% confidence, 25%, is physical. And, he got that confidence, he got that mental strength, and he just ran with it. He ran with it and had, one of the best college runs a player has ever had for 2 years.
Ever had, yeah. Were you surprised? Like, how did it come about you guys knowing you wanted to come back for that second year? Because I mean, for the second championship for that after your junior year.
Yeah, well, Corey, Allen, Joe, they were going to be lottery picks. Joe was going to be the first pick in the draft. Probably if he would have left after that sophomore year, Al would have been the top 5. Corey would have probably been the top 10 lottery pick. And, the main factor, I think, was, there was 2 factors. I think one factor was Corey's decision to decide to return because, Corey had to, look out for his family. He had, his family's over there in Tennessee, and he had to do and consider what was best for his family at that time. And when he did come back, I think that made that decision easier for Al and Joe because we all loved playing together. And, if they said, I think they saw that, if Corey's coming back, making that sacrifice, then, why not? And we saw that we had a chance to, win it again. So that just made the decision easier, for those guys. And, I think the second one is, they didn't, we came in together and they didn't want to, we said, hey, we came in together. We said, we're going to go out together. So we're going to come back and get it done and let's do it. We're going to come back. Got to do it. We said, we're going to come back. We got to do it. We got to repeat,
Yeah. Did the weight of expectation, did that even get in the way at all of the focus?
At a course during the season, I think it did. I think it really affected Joakim at one point, because he was, he would score. He'd have a game, college game. We were such a balance. People would expect him to score 20, 15 or whatever. He would have 7 points, 9 rebounds or whatever. Play his role for us. Play a great game.
And win.
People over there, this guy is, and I think that really affected him throughout the season at one point. But, we had a good support system. Like, you got to give Coach D, you got to give everybody, around credit because we were there for him. And he stayed mentally strong and he got through it, himself as well. So I think at one point during the season, it all kind of affected us.
Yeah. For us, coming out of that junior year, going to my senior year, it was more so at first we kind of didn't we wanted to relax on the work ethic part of like laying that foundation again each and every day and kind of just expected, there were expectations for us to be a top team and we just were like, we just gonna fall into it, and Coach Donovan's like, nah, like y'all still gotta work your butts off. I don't care about what anybody else is saying. You still gotta put the work in here. I don't care that your defense was one that's like you this is the new year, new experience. Yeah. And after we got humbled in a preseason game against Georgia Tech and he set us straight, like we just, the rest was history.
But you need
reality
check. Need a reality check sometimes.
Oh yeah. But see, Grant, I got a few more questions for you. Want to respect your time. The people got to know this one, and I need to know the 04s versus the my class. Not who would win, but how do you think the game would go?
Who's your class? You, Casey, Scotty.
Me, Casey, Scotty, Will. Well, I'll go with this. Our lineup for the senior my last year: Scotty, Mike Frazier, Will you get Casey Prather and me, and then also Dodo off the bench. Who am I missing?
Who is that guard Rutgers y'all had?
Oh, Mike, he was my junior year. He wasn't there my senior year.
Not Mike Rosario. It was another guard. Eli Carter. Was he
Eli
there with
Carter. Yep. He did not play. That was his freshman year.
Okay. Nah, I remember y'all made the Final Four. Y'all made it to the final. I said, look, if anybody has a chance to do it again, it's gonna be this team. It's gonna be this team. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, But talent-wise, y'all had a complete team. I mean, looking at y'all's team, it kind of reminded me of you guys reminded me of us, in a way, to where you guys got along. I'm sure y'all's bond was great.
Yep.
Chemistry was great. You guys had, you at the 5, Will at the 4, kind of similar. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You as Horf, Will as a Joakim Noah type. Casey Prather, Corey, Scotty. Yep. You had Mike Rosario.
Scotty like you, and then Mike Frazier like a Lee.
Yeah.
A Lee Humphrey type. Yeah, absolutely. Man, yep. if Will didn't get hurt coming out of that junior year, because he had microfracture.
He did. Oh,
yeah, man. He was this close to actually redshirting on into that senior year. He was that close to red. He was thinking because he couldn't get his athleticism back.
Really?
But we just loved up on him and just encouraged him and Coach Donald. I just remember the first time he dunked again after that, because he still didn't look explosive. Like, he's doing well now, but microfracture, that's one of the toughest things to come back from. But it was a great year, man. It was awesome.
No, you guys had a talented team. I remember that, man. I was rooting for y'all. I was like, man, we about to get another trip. But no, y'all had a talented team, man. You guys were really good as well, man. You guys were really good as well. But that's how it falls sometimes, man. That's just how it goes. But y'all got there.
We got there. Yeah, it was a blessing. Yeah, I just know.
Anything can happen after that.
Yeah, we just wish, we could have got the opportunity to play for it all. If Kentucky would have won, well, I would have killed somebody. Well, I'm telling you that. After we beat them 3 times, the championship game. Anybody but Kentucky. That's why I was like, okay. I mean, UConn just got hot out of nowhere. When you got a team with those two or three guards that can just really disrupt the game, man, and just, gosh, man, Shabazz Napier and Ryan Boatwright, and then DeAndre Daniels coming in.
Backcourt,
like 5 or 6 threes, shooting 20% from the 3-point line on the year, but he want to make 6 threes in this game. Come on.
That's how it is. Hey, you got that one guy on the scouting report that says, hey, he's not a good shooter. We're going to, try to sag off him. They end up, that's the one that be killing you throughout the game.
T. Green, I want to thank you for your time. I mean, my man's 14 years pro. It's crazy, man. Just thinking about how the time flies. I think you've played, it's got you here on Wikipedia. It could be wrong. I think this is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different teams.
Yeah, 13 different.
And 14 seasons. Yep. Did that Poland last?
Yeah, Poland. I won it. I was in Poland this past season. We ended up winning the championship, the Polish League Championship.
Oh, it's cold out there.
Man, hey, listen. It's cold. I said, listen, I don't think I'm gonna go play in Poland again. It's too cold.
What's next for you, brother?
Right now, I have I'm a president and I head up the player development. For me and my cousin have an agency, Green Sports Management. I'm doing player development the past few years for us. So I'm doing a lot of training right now. And, I'm trying to just, prepare myself for when I do finish, trying to get over to that coaching. I want to coach. I want to, help develop players, just give back everything I've learned along the way throughout my career, college, high school, professional, and give back to this young generation and just try to develop these guys and try to make them, just share the knowledge that I've learned along the way.
Absolutely. I love that, brother. I mean, we're called to be conduits, not just to hold on to everything.
Gotta share the knowledge of the young generation.
Share the wealth. Teach. Let's have 100 more other T Greens out there. That opportunities that under your window. As Billy Donovan has so many people under his window that he's affected and touched. Why can't you do the same thing? But just want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the opportunity to finally get you on the show. We might have to do a part 2 because I know there's a bunch of stories we didn't get into.
A lot more that we didn't get to cover, man.
I know. We might have to just dedicate it to straight stories on that one. But man, I just want to thank you so much, everyone. This was episode 2 of season 2 with Taurean Green, the man, the myth, the hero, the legend. So grateful for his time. Everyone, remember to subscribe. And next week, we'll get another great show to you. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you, Pat.
Appreciate you. Have a good one, brother.